dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about the brand new perk leaks for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Definitely stay tuned. Now, if you guys are shopping around for a brand new gaming chair, or you've noticed that you had some back pain when playing Call of Duty recently, then look no further than Respawn Gaming. You can get some of the best chairs in the gaming industry and save 10% off any order when you use code DTND. To celebrate 2 years of the detonated outlet, we've partnered with Respawn to provide you guys a discount site-wide. That link is going to be down below in this video's description, and you can also pair that with their flexible payment options and other discounts in the future. But with that, I do want to thank you for all the support on today's live stream going through the King of the Dead Zombies event. It's actually the first zombie exclusive event for COD HQ, and the thing is, it's probably not going to attract too many players from multiplayer or Warzone, which it didn't have to, but I think if the rewards would have been cosmetic based, like a camo or a blueprint, they probably would have had to structure the event a little bit differently to where there isn't a chance that you won't get the items by actually putting in the work. Hopefully we get some other zombie exclusive events in the future that do have some pretty cool cosmetics that could appeal to a lot of different players out there. But let's be real, right? If you're a hardcore zombie player, you probably already have a grand stockpile of gobblegums anyways, so this event might not get your attention apart from the competitive aspect of it, which I'll circle back to in a second. But hey, if you're trying to increase your gobblegum count before DLC 4, which is going to be coming out August 7th, or before Black Ops 7 Zombies, because carry forward's very likely for that game, then you may want to take advantage of this event. Luckily, the event is structured a little bit differently from what we originally thought based on the leak footage that came out around a week ago. That's why I always say, take all leaks with a grain of salt. We can look at them, analyze them, give our opinions, but we always got to remember that leaked footage or any rumors out there cannot be taken for certain, because things could change in a matter of days and could be different from when things actually release. That's what happened with this event, actually. I think in the leaked footage it initially said that you would get 500 event points for killing a boss. It's actually in the thousands, depending on the map that you're actually playing, with Citadel being, I guess, considered the toughest map, according to Treyarch. So they give you the most points for beating Citadel, the second most for Shattered Veil, and then it goes down from there to Terminus, to the Tomb, and of course Liberty Falls. I guess they just rank them based on completion times or length of the quest. I'm not exactly sure. But we also had no idea how the leaderboard itself would work. I never really thought there would be a global leaderboard to where they're like, hey, only one person in the world is going to be awarded with a Perkaholic or a near-death experience. We always figured it would be a global leaderboard that maybe measured percentages, so top 1%, 5%, 20, 30. Doesn't work that way either, which I guess makes the event a little bit more accessible for your average zombie player who doesn't have infinite amounts of time to play or isn't doing exploits and glitches to just farm kills or points for days. So I guess it worked out that it only puts you up against 30 other people, or excuse me, that's including yourself, 29 other people at complete randomness, and it'll be up to you to just keep track of that leaderboard so you know where you're placing against those people before the event concludes next Thursday. Now, if for some reason your leaderboard is still offline when you're watching this video, just go ahead and make sure that you do one solo exfil. Maybe you close your game, reopen it, and the leaderboard works for you, but for me, it didn't actually open up until I did a solo exfil on Liberty Falls. But I've actually been posting quite a few bonus videos over on the Detonated YouTube channel. If you want to check out some of the highlights from today's King of the Dead stream, the link to that channel is going to be down below in this video's description. But with that out the way, let's jump into the brand new perk leaks for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Starting off with Tombstone, this is a perk that did come back in Cold War and hadn't been seen since, Black Ops 2's Transit. It also came back in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, and long story short, I didn't agree with really bringing that back, because although it was useful in the case that you bled out and want to get your loot back in a separate infill, that was great. It just created a bunch of exploits that broke the game, if anything. It was actually crashing servers as people were accumulating hundreds of thousands of points, which I believe fried people's games at times. But I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I understand people can play the game how they want. MW3 was a bit different, where your experience actually did impact others because it was a PvPvE experience on a big server. I got to admit, I actually forgot that one of the crystal upgrades for Tombstone in Cold War was a Who's Who-like ability, which ironically is a perk people have been talking about just recently, because if the Reckoning is some type of die-rise spiritual successor, how cool would it be if Who's Who could be seen as a gag or as an actual new perk? Again, not necessarily one that I would want to see, but wouldn't be shocked if it does get referenced at some point in the future again. Could even be an augment for a future iteration of Tombstone. But a little while ago, it looks like Tombstone actually leaked out as a perk for Black Ops 6 as well. There weren't any specific names for the augments or upgrades, but references were found for the perk, which of course could have just been left over from MW3, or maybe there were plans to bring the perk back at some point, but maybe those plans have changed because as of Season 4 Reloaded, the usual data miners have claimed that there are no references to Tombstone coming back into zombies. I think this is a good thing because they could actually use the next perk slot on something a bit better, or something that hasn't been brought back several times already, whereas I also think that Tombstone doesn't really appeal to that many people. I guess for casuals, sure, if they know they're going to go down, or if they know that they want to grab their stash in a different game. I feel like a lot of hardcore players probably wouldn't want to spend the extra points on that perk, nor do they plan on dying either. So who knows, maybe the perk will make a return at some point in the future. That's not one I'm personally looking forward to, but according to Vondi is Pog and other data miners on Twitter, there are references to a Quaternary slot for your loadout that were discovered for Black Ops 7, and I believe that was also tied to something called M_mod. That could be a reference to Mule Kick, which will be featured inside of Black Ops 7, but the question is, will it actually be a perk or some type of upgrade that you can actually unlock through the game's progression? Could this also be a feature that's exclusive to just Outbreak in BO7, since that's also been leaked to return? Now, Mule Kick's been in almost every iteration of zombies, minus a couple here and there, but I do think this perk has a place. However, with the point economy we have in Black Ops 6 right now, and probably BO7, it'll cost probably 200,000 points to fully upgrade your primary, your secondary, melee, and your Mule Kick weapon, let alone the salvage it would cost to actually upgrade the weapon's rarity as well. So could they just bring back Mule Kick in a different way? I would certainly hope so. The weird thing about this perk though is that during the Terminus capture event last summer, Treyarch apparently told content creators that Mule Kick would be returning, but they didn't specify what map it would be returning in. So plans could have changed to where it once was planned for BO6, got moved to BO7, or got cut entirely. Now, something we talked about before the release of the Shattered Veil was a list of leaked perks, which actually still holds up to this day, because on that list, we first had D_mod, which turned out to be Double Tap. So it looks like the letter, a part of that leaked code, is actually referring to the first letter of whatever the perk name is. So we got Double Tap already. What is Z_mod, and then W_mod? That could be referring to two upcoming perks we're going to see in BO6, which I have to say at first kind of has me scratching my head a bit, because although it's possible to just get a perk added into the Wonder Fizz on all maps, you would think that both of these perks would also get brand new perk machines. Would they really drop two new perks for DLC 4 The Reckoning? Or could one perk come to DLC 4 in Season 5, and could they just add one extra perk by itself out of nowhere within Season 6 without a brand new machine? Or they could of course add a machine to all the round-based maps, sure. They typically also have really stuck to just bringing back old perks within these post-launch updates. They've usually saved brand new original perks for the launch window of a Call of Duty Zombies. But have they added brand new original perks into the game during the DLC cycle? Yes, they've done that many times before, so keep that in mind. Here's what everybody's thinking though. W_mod is either Widow's Wine or Winter's Wail. The evidence really suggests it's probably Widow's Wine, considering an icon exists for this new version of the perk, which was actually released through a collector's edition of Modern Warfare 3 back at Walmart. So is it possible that Widow's Wine was in development for MW3, which to me would have been a banger by the way, and then got cut, or has been saved for BO6, maybe BO7? It's totally up in the air if this perk is going to return, but what if W also means Winter's Wail? This was a variant of Widow's Wine that we saw in Black Ops 4, which practically did the same thing. I know what some people are going to say though, oh, but there's an augment, a reactive armor augment for Jug, which kind of acts as Widow's Wine anyway, and I get that. I just don't think that means we won't get the Widow's Wine perk on its own, because there might be folks that don't run the reactive armor augment regardless. But as I've said before, I do believe we're in need of a new lethal perk like Widow's Wine or Winter's Wail, which BO6 I think could put to use pretty well, and hopefully that carries forward to BO7 too. But as far as what Z stands for, a lot of people out there are on board with the return of Zombshell. If we are going to get a perk that is reimagined or a returning perk of any sort, the only perk that started with the letter Z is of course Zombshell. And this to me is a very underrated perk from Black Ops 4, which actually had an ability that's similar to what Vulture Aid currently offers, and always did back from BO2, which is the ability to conceal yourself from zombies for a short amount of time. Now, they don't have to bring that part back from Zombshell, which I believe was the modifier ability anyway. They could just bring back the part of the perk that slows zombies down by chance chance every time you get some kills and then the perk activates. But I could imagine a lot of the modifier abilities from Black Ops 4 perks could just be brought back as augments inside of the new perk system, unless we have a complete overhaul with how perks work in BO7, that I'm sure they'll end up doing some really cool new augments for these leaked perks that we'll probably see by the end of this game cycle. But realistically, I'm not expecting to see 20 plus perks on my screen if all the perks carry forward from BO6 to 7, and if BO7 also adds in a ton of new perks throughout that year, they could simply have it to where the Wonder Fizz machine restricts you on what perks you could actually equip on specific round-based maps, but at the very least, carry forward all the base perks that launched with BO6, carry all the augments over. Maybe if you want to add a new set of augment upgrades into the existing perks within BO7, that would also be cool, but when it comes to just Black Ops 6 specifically, I would at the very least expect just one more perk with, of course, a brand new set of augments. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the brand new King of the Dead Zombies event, the free gobblegums, and all the brand new perk leaks, which could actually be for BO6, not Black Ops 7? Leave our thoughts down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.